By the time this video drops, I will have put about 1,800 print hours on the Bambu Lab H2S since my original video. And since then, I have printed big things, small things, various materials from PLA to PCTG, carbon-infused filaments, tall things, full plates, and really big things. And I'm very happy to report that during this time, I've had zero issues with the H2S. Around 1,000 print hours, I performed some very basic maintenance, such as lubricating the rails and the rods, but otherwise, no major issues with the H2S. Now, after that first video and spending this much time with the H2S, I do have some additional thoughts that I didn't mention in the first video, and some things that perhaps I've struggled with or I've found some inconveniences with the machine, but there's also a whole bunch of things that I've come to love about the H2S. And I'm going to share those with you guys in this update video, and any of the issues that I do have solutions for those, so keep watching. So first we'll cover the things that I've really come to love. And the first one is just the print volume. I own a bunch of P1S machines, A1s, A1 minis. Having the extra build size of the H2S is excellent. It's even bigger than the H2D because it's got this single nozzle, and it just unlocks so many more possibilities. Even just filling the build plate if you have a print farm or you're looking to do a big job. The extra build size is something that really comes in handy, and you guys will love that. The second thing is the quick swap nozzles or pot ends. You'll see this later in the video. We're going to be switching one over, and it just takes literally a minute to do. And then you can unlock a new nozzle size if perhaps you're looking to do a bigger build and you want nice thick layer lines to lay them down really fast and complete your job. Again, it takes about 1 minute and it's very convenient. The third thing is the automatic enclosure venting. This is something that is sometimes overlooked, and it just becomes one of those things that happens completely invisible in the background, but it is very convenient. On a lot of enclosed printers that I've had in the past, sometimes with PLA or other materials that don't like a really hot chamber inside, you gotta remember to open the lid or open the door to ensure that you don't have the material softening in the extruder and you end up with a clog. With the H2S, it's got the vent on the front, it's venting out the back, it's got the built-in HEPA filters, and just takes care of all of that for you. You press print, you send it off, and you don't even have to think about it. The fourth thing is the motor noise canceling. And it's another one of these things that you just kind of take for granted because you really don't see it happening, but the machine is surprisingly quiet considering how large it is. I've owned a few large 3D printers, and a lot of times with the extra moving mass, you end up with just more noise. And if you have the H2S in your office or somewhere nearby, especially like this, if you're recording, I actually have the printer running in the next room, you won't even hear it. It's pretty quiet for a machine of that size. And again, it's just something that you really come to appreciate over time. The fifth and final thing I've come to love is the reliability of the H2S. After those 1,800 hours, I had no major downtime with the machine, no major repairs, and the machine is just very, very robust. I've also noticed that I haven't seen any signs of part degradation. Some minor signs of perhaps the nozzle starting to wear out a little bit, and you'll see later we're going to go ahead and replace that with a brand new hot end. But otherwise, part tolerances and part quality were very consistent and very good all the way up till now. So overall, a near perfect experience with the H2S so far, but I mentioned that there are some minor things, let's just call them inconveniences, that I have noticed that we're going to deal with in the second part of this video. So as I go through this list, I'll briefly mention the solution, but later we'll look at it more closely and more thoroughly. And so the first inconvenience is actually the same thing that I mentioned as the thing that I love about the machine first, and that's its size. So it has that nice big build volume, but that also means that it is a very big machine. It takes up a lot of space, so you need a big table. It's very heavy, so it's not easy to move around. It's also very tall. So this is something that might be awkward if you have to move things around in your workspace. And the solution for that I have that I'm going to show you will be the Panda Station, and it's from BIQU. And it's basically a rolling cart for the H series printers, and it is very sturdy and well made. So we'll look at that in a moment. The second thing is the filament poop or purge situation. And like most machines, Bambu Lab has decided to just dump it straight out the back, and it's up to you to deal with it. So when I originally got this machine, the first thing I did was I went on Maker World and I found a purge ramp or a poop chute, and it's the ramp style one. So it goes down the ramp into a bucket at the side of the machine, and this worked generally well. However, sometimes the poop or purge will get stuck on the ramp, start to collect, and it could back up or it could even fall off the ramp. And for this, BIQU has the Panda Den, which is essentially a platform that the H2S will sit comfortably on top of. There's some drawers for storage, and there's a hole at the back that allows the purge and poop to fall directly down into, so there's no ramp for it to get stuck. And the third thing is the multiple AMS units. It's something that I've really wanted to try, but the issue with the H2, as well as most of the Bambu Lab printers, is that there's just not enough room on top to put two AMS units side by side. So you would have to put them beside the machine and perhaps come up with your own custom solution for something like a rack. Now that makes the footprint even bigger, and of course, coming up with that custom solution can be a bit of a pain. So BIQU's got the Panda Perch, which allows you to put two AMS units up top, and they've got some extra slots down the side where if you're trying to use something like engineering grade filaments that's going to require a dry box or a higher temperature dry box, you can put the AMS HT into one of those slots and then feed it in through the back of the H2S. So we'll also have a look at that. And lastly, it's not uncommon for little bits of filament to evade the poop chute entirely, and a lot of that stuff collects at the bottom of the printer underneath your build plate, makes quite a bit of mess over a period of time. And normally what you would have to do is grab your vacuum cleaner or just wipe it out. But BIQU does have the Panda Diaper, which is essentially a silicone mat that goes on the bottom of the machine. It collects all that stuff, and then you can simply just pick it up and bring that over to the garbage can and empty it out directly into there. So that pretty much sums up the update to my experience so far with the H2S. But to improve on the next 1800 print hours, we're going to dive into BIQU's Panda Verse and look at some of those aforementioned upgrades and accessories. So first up, we've got the Panda Station, and this thing comes in a pretty big box. It was so big that I couldn't unbox it on my regular table, so please excuse the poor lighting in this situation here. But when you finally get it out of the box, it comes mostly pre-assembled, and more or less all you have to do is peel off all of the protective stickers on the acrylic panels, and then perform some very minor and easy assembly work with accessories like the handles, as well as the leveling caster wheels. Overall, it's a very simple build, and it will be the perfect foundation for the rest of our modifications, and we'll look at it closer in a moment. Next, we have the Panda Den H2, and this is a Panda Den big enough for the H2 series of the Bambu Lab printers. It is effectively a platform that you can put your printer on top of and gives you storage underneath, and it even has holes in the top of the platform for purge waste to escape through and collect inside of one of those drawers. And this thing will accommodate various different machines, including the H series as well as XP and even A series printers. It has a really nice premium feel to it with its all-metal construction as well as its soft closing drawer slides. The drawers have a generous amount of room inside, and the Panda Den can be placed on top of a table and your printer placed on top of that. Alternatively, you can place the Den on top of the Panda Station directly. There are some small holes where the feet will fit into, so it will not slide off. As you can imagine, BIQU had designed for this to be the case, and it will give you the ultimate setup with the most amount of storage possible. And speaking of storage, I said we were going to take a closer look at the Panda Station. So when you open up the bottom door of the Panda Station, you have a nice big shelf that slides out, and this gives you tons of room for filament storage. I can comfortably fit at least 20 rolls of filament down there. And above that, we have a shallow drawer perfect for things like tools and 3D printer accessories, such as your side cutters and other small tools, as well as nozzles and the like. And despite carrying around all of this weight, because of the caster wheels at the bottom, the entire unit is still very easy to move around. And that solves one of the issues that I mentioned earlier in the video about the H2S being a large unit that is difficult to move around. So the Panda Station solves that problem, plus the issue with filament storage, and those bottom casters are leveling casters, so the feet can be deployed and the whole thing can sit securely in place. Now for these various accessories, BIQU also has a maker roll page where you can find printable upgrades and accessories, such as this flex plate holder, and you can see there's a marked location on the side of the Panda Den that you can screw this into, and all of the hardware is already supplied with the purchase of the Panda Den. So the screws are supplied, I printed this thing off on my H2S, and now I have a convenient place to hold at least 5 build plates sized for the H series printer. And one of the mods that you cannot skip printing is the poop chute guide. So this is going to guide the filament down from the back of the H2S into the hole in the top of the Panda Den and into one of those drawers. Again, the files are included on the BIQU Maker World page, and the hardware is included with the Panda Den. And that includes the magnets that are used to secure this thing to the back panel of the H2S. And this solves the problem that I was talking about earlier when I was saying that I was originally using one of those ramp style poop chutes, and occasionally the filament will get stuck on the ramp and then start to build up and overflow. But by switching over to this solution here, now the Perch takes a very direct route down through the back of the printer and straight down into the hole in the back of the Panda Den. And because this printed guide doesn't use any sort of a ramp, there's nowhere for the filament to collect or get stuck. It just ends up directly in that drawer, and it's very easy to clean out. Earlier in the video, I mentioned that at some point I want to try using multiple AMS units with my H2S. But part of the challenge is finding a place to put them. You can't fit two on top of the machine, and you'd have to possibly put them on the side with a custom rack. Now, the Panda Perch is a solution to this, so this frame that I'm building right here will sit directly on top of the H2S, and you can put one AMS unit directly in the center or two side by side. So if you put them side by side, they will slightly overhang the machine on either side, but it still takes up way less space than putting two complete units beside the machine in a custom rack. The Panda Perch is all metal construction, and it's pretty straightforward to put together. There are a lot of screws, but otherwise it's very simple with the included instructions. The red pieces that I'm attaching right now are the parts that the feet of the AMS unit will slot into securely. So again, you could put one in the center or two side by side, but these red pieces also overhang and allow you to attach some extra pieces that hang down the side of the H2S. So in these additional boxes, you'll find some brackets, and they are basically holders for AMS HT units. And if you got two of these boxes, that means you'll have four in total. So you could put two on the left side of the machine and another two on the right hand side. They get bolted to the red brackets on the top of the Panda Perch, and then there are some included suction cups and some adhesive plates that you stick to the side of the H2S, and the suction cups keep them secured directly to the side of the machine. It's a pretty interesting approach. But beyond using them for the AMS HT units, an additional application that I potentially thought that they could be useful for would be using them for TPU. So you could put your favorite filament roller and sit it directly inside of one of these units here, and then feed your TPU directly into the side of the H2S. And the reason for doing this is that you may already know that most TPU is not compatible with the AMS units, so you need to feed it in on an external or auxiliary spool, and this could do the trick. In addition to a lot of those bigger modifications that we just looked at, BIQU also has some really nice smaller accessories. For example, they have these frostbite and glacier plates, and they sent me both. Each of them does come with this application card, which tells you exactly which temperatures and which materials are compatible with them, as well as the cleaning method that you'll want to use on either of these plates. And if you're not already aware, BIQU also has some replacement hot ends for the H series as well as various other Bambu Lab printers. They're calling them the Panda Juicer. They come with a Vanta non-stick coating as well as a hardened steel nozzle, and they sent me a variety of nozzle sizes, so I'm going to be trying some of those out. And the Panda diaper is the thing that I mentioned earlier in the video when I was talking about the mess that happens at the bottom of the printer. So it's basically a custom molded silicone mat to fit directly inside the bottom of the H series printer, and it fits all around the linear rods as well as the threaded rods, keeps everything nice and clean and protected. And when you want to clean it up at the end, you just simply pull it out and dump everything in the garbage. Previously, you would have had to bring a vacuum cleaner over to your printer, which isn't the end of the world, so the Panda diaper is just one of those things where it's a convenience item. And now skipping back to those build plates, one of the other things that I noticed about using the frostbite plate in particular, haven't really tried the glacier plate yet. The prints stick very well. I'm just using PLA in this example here, but one of its unique features seems to be that despite it being textured, it does seem to produce a very high gloss finish on your first layer. And that's not something that I've been able to achieve unless I'm using a smooth plate or even going back all the way to using glass a long time in the past. So it is certainly a unique look if that's what you're shooting for. One of the other things that I mentioned at some point in this video was that despite the machine having over 1,000 hours on it, I wasn't really seeing any major degradation of print quality. However, I was starting to notice some very small things, such as minor stringing and even on some parts, little tiny deposits of filament. Nozzle wear is something that happens very gradually, so it's not something that you're just going to immediately notice. And I will say that the original nozzle did last an outstanding period of time. But then when you do swap over to a fresh nozzle, the difference in print quality becomes immediately apparent. It's kind of like being able to hit the reset button on the printer and sending it right back to its new condition. And right away, I noticed that the prints were looking much sharper, so those very fine details were looking like they did back on day one, and no more stringing or blobs on the prints due to probably that Vanta coating on the BIQU nozzles. And these things are high flow hot ends, so the flow is not something that I had tested, but according to BIQU, there should be some sort of an improvement there. So that covers everything I wanted to talk about in this update video. And if you guys are in the market for the H2S or any of the BIQU products that you've seen in this video, I've got links in the video description down below. They will be affiliate links and they go a very long way to helping to support this channel. And the other way that you guys can help without spending a single dime is just hitting that like button, subscribing, or leaving your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. I'm now at almost 70,000 subscribers and I would love to have you guys on board, so please subscribe. That's all. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.